Hi you all, my name is Connor Deal. I'm coming to you here from the Roseland Polo Club Polo Barn here at King Family Vineyards. And I just have to say we're really excited to have you guys start to come out and watch polo on June 7th. I know it's a little later than normal, but we're implementing some new things to make the game more exciting, and really can't wait to have people here to watch us play and share this lovely sport with you. One of the things that we'll be doing this year that's a little different to maybe make it a little more fun to watch is having a play-by-play announcer for all of the Sunday games. So one of the things we thought that might be a good idea before that first match would be to give you some terminology, general polo terminology that you might hear over the loudspeaker, and kind of explain it a little bit so that you might understand more when you come out to watch this first polo match. So I've got my cheat sheet here, and we'll just get into it. First thing is, a lot of people are confused by what we call periods in polo. So for a period in polo, it's actually we call it a chukker. So our periods are called chukkers. Our chukkers are usually 7.5 minutes long, and generally in a game that you watch here, there'll be 4 chukkers. Unless it's a round robin, in which case we'll do 6 chukkers. So when you hear chukker, that's just the polo term for a period. Let's see what else we have. So a throw-in. So for polo, a throw-in is kind of like the scrum start to the game. So a throw-in or a bowl-in is when we line up in the center of the field for the beginning of the match or the beginning of each chukker, depending, or after a goal is scored. And the umpire will bowl the ball into the middle of a line of players who will then ride each other off, bump into each other to try to get the line of that ball. That leads us to bump. A bump or a ride-off, you'll see often in polo. It's a contact sport, so you'll see us ride into each other. We'll ride our horses parallel with each other and bump each other and move each other off the ball. This is going to be a defensive or an offensive play, either trying to get the ball or trying to protect the ball. You can ride into the other player safely at no angle. So basically you're parallel to them, and then you slowly move your horse into them and push them over to get them off the ball. The horses actually love this. They get very aggressive. If you have a good polo pony, they really love winning the ride-off against their competitor. They're competitive too. Let's see. A goal is the same. It just a goal is for us is when the ball crosses the line of the goal. For us out here, you'll see 2 big red posts, and that's our goal. So anytime the ball crosses the line of the field between those 2 posts, it's a goal. And something different about polo is that the goal actually is extended as high as the sky. So there's no limit on the height of the goal. As long as it's between those 2 posts, that is a goal. Let's see. So now we can talk a little bit about the mallet. This is a polo mallet I've got with me right here, partly because I just wanted to have something in my hands as I talked, and also to show you a mallet. This is the head of the mallet. This is the shaft of the mallet, and this is the grip. A polo mallet we kind of hold like we have a sling too. This is the sling. We hold it sort of like you hold a hammer. So with the grip like this. And then there's a little bit of angle to the head so that when you're sitting on your horse, as the mallet comes out at an angle, it sits flat on the ground. And contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think that we hit it with this front part like a croquet mallet. That would be extremely hard, and we don't do that. We hit it with the broad face. So you see I've got tape on mine because it is wood, so that protects it from the moisture, allows you to get a good hit on the ball without damaging the wood mallet head. So we hit it with the broad side, and there are a few different swings that we use in polo. Most often you'll see us hitting on our offside, which is an offside shot, so that's our right side. So offside is the right side. So if they say it offside, that's their right side. And then we have our near side. So near side is the left side, the other side of the horse. And that's kind of awkward and harder, but we do it too. So you hit on both sides of the horse. And then a back shot. A back shot is hitting the ball backwards, as it says. Usually we do it at angles, so we call either open or tail. and that's either away from your horse or towards your horse's tail. The reason we do that is so that we don't hit the people right behind us. So usually you're trying to put angle on your back shots. All right, so that recaps pretty much the general swings. And then just to go over again, that finishes up the mallet pretty much, but just to go over again, we've got our sling, we've got the handle, the shaft of the mallet, and then up here is the head of the mallet. And just the most important part to remember about this is that we do not hit with the toe. We hit it with actually the broad face of the mallet. This would be really hard. This is still hard, but a little easier than that. With that, I think we could I'll show you maybe the ball here. Got a couple balls. This is our Roseland Polo Club logoed ball. We'll be using. You'll see these out on the field this year. These actually might even be for sale on the field this year, I think. So look out for that on June 7th. But the cool thing about these balls, these were actually purchased in Argentina, which is a polo capital of the world, where they manufacture a lot of things like this. By the way, if you hear we have the farrier here, Jacoby, hard at work. So if you hear the striking, he's shaping a shoe right now. So it's always something going on here at the farm. So these balls are actually, they're made out of plastic. The ones that we use now, they used to be wood originally, and then we've kind of modern era have a plastic version of the ball that's more consistent, doesn't break as often. They still do break. Sometimes you'll see one split in half on the field. If they break in half, feel free to take a half home, and that could be a souvenir. But they're really resilient. And they kind of compress, so it's a hard plastic. If you get hit with it, it does hurt really bad, but they get compressed. So you'll see after one's been hit a couple times, they get kind of dented up, and actually they fly straighter after they've had a couple dents in them. So we like to kind of not use a new ball at first. You kind of got to beat them up a little bit, and then they have a fly truer, kind of like the dimples in a golf ball. And that's the ball. Let me see if there's any other terminology that might be important. Let me just scan through this sheet. Oh, the penalties. You'll probably see a lot of penalties too out there. Fouls happen just like any other game. We like to have them not happen as much because it's a lot more fun without them, but they do happen. And usually you'll see there's a few different penalties. There's a penalty 1, which is just counted as a goal. And so you'll see that you'll see a throw in sort of towards the offensive goal after penalty 1. There's a penalty 2, which is a free hit from 20 yards out. It might be 30 yards. I can't remember if it's 20 or 30. But and then there's a penalty 3 and 4, which are from 30 yards and 40 yards respectively. It might even be 10, but I'll have to polish up on that. There's 3 lines. The first line closest to the goal is a penalty 2. The second line further away is a penalty 3, and the last line, this is a lot further away and harder to hit, is a penalty 4. Another thing about a penalty 4 is it's defended. So if you see somebody hitting a penalty 4, usually you'll have defenders inside the goal that are ready to try to block the ball. That's a penalty 4. We also have penalty 5s, which are either from the spot or the middle of the field, and those will just be like if a defending team was fouled, then they'll just drop the ball usually there, depending on severity of the foul. They'll just drop it there and let them have a free hit towards their goal, and everybody will line up for that. Let me see if there's anything else important to talk about here. The wooden sides of the field on the ground are called the boards. You'll hear them talk about the boards a lot. One thing that's interesting and important for you guys to know that we'll try to announce a lot is the polo field actually extends outside of those wooden boards. So horses can jump those wooden boards and the ball played inside the boards. So as long as the ball stays inside the boards, the horses can be outside the boards. A lot of times if you overrun it or you have to step out of the field because you're coming really fast to the line, that can happen. So for that reason, it's important that during the play you stay at least 15 feet back to give the players space along the boards. One other aspect of the game that is very important for the field and the play, and fun for spectators as well, is the divot stomp. So as you'll notice when you're looking out on the field, I just looked out towards our field here, you'll notice that it's a turf, and the horses do tear it up. I mean, during a regular game, it's common for a divot to be pulled up by the horses, especially when they have shoes on. They kind of tear it up. It's like when they cut back and forth, it's like being on a basketball court. They're cutting back and forth, except they're on the grass, and they're heavy. They weigh about 1,000 pounds each, so they tear up the ground sometimes. So what we do during halftime is the divot stomp. So at a halftime, they'll announce it on the loudspeaker at halftime for everybody to come out on the field. You're welcome to walk around the field at this time, and then we encourage spectators to put the divots back. So you can move with your feet. If you see a clump of grass that's been displaced, just like golf, put it back, stomp it down, flatten out the field again. It'll make the polo a lot more exciting because hopefully people will miss less balls in the next chukkers. So that's the divot stomp. And that pretty much does it for our base. I mean, we can get more complicated, but I think that gives us a good base for now. And really, we're just so excited to see you guys on. We're so excited to see you on June 7th, and just can't wait to play polo and get everybody out here, see the crowd again, and share this wonderful sport that we love with you.